On a continent where the female folk are considered inferior to their male counterparts, more and more women in Africa are finding their way and making marks in business, medicine, fashion, politics, and all facets of life, thereby inspiring many more women to succeed. As the only authentic Dutch wax since 1846, Vlisco continues to celebrate genuine African women who, despite the odds they face, dare to dream and draw inspiration from their passion and uniqueness. This month, Vlisco celebrates 3 outstanding heroes who have done exceptionally well in their respective fields of endeavors. These beautiful, passionate and daring women have proven that within every woman rests the courage to succeed and be unique.
Well, Esther is a young woman who's so proud to be a Nigerian, who's also passionate about women's issues in the country. Esther believes that if women have the power, are empowered, they can make a big difference in the world. Esther believes that when women are empowered to make decisions about their health, that they become more better to contribute to society. Esther currently works with the Association for Reproductive and Family Health. And she's also very passionate about the environment. She believes that when people are empowered to take care of the environment becomes more sustainable for them.
I am a medical physician. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a trainee pilot, and I'm a Nigerian woman who's very, very passionate about women and women's affairs in Nigeria, and also about healthcare and access to good quality healthcare for every Nigerian.
First of all, I'm, a creature of God, made by God. And my name is Adesuwa Onyinokwe. I was Adesuwa Sunday. My parents named him Adesuwa when I was born in 1963 in Ibadan. They were both civil servants, and they're retired and old now. But growing up in Ibadan, I guess, one must have experienced a life of civil servants where we're like lower middle class, but we didn't want for anything. We're originally from Edo State, so we went to Benin when Midwest was created. But because I was a little baby, we couldn't move.
Well, I was born and raised in Cross River, right now. And I began involved in youth development work when I was 9 years old. I was working on issues of children's rights because I grew up in an environment where a lot of children didn't have access to school. A lot of girls were married off at tender age. Or I also grew up as a teenager seeing girls become pregnant because they didn't have information to stay in my course. So I started working on children's rights issues at the age of 9. I grew up like that, and I got into university to continue my work in terms of providing information to young people about reproductive health and rights and how they can stay informed.
I grew up in England, quite a working class family. But I had a very, very happy childhood, and I think one of the major benefits I received as a child in England was access to free education. And girl-child education in Nigeria is a huge issue, with as many as 25% of women in Nigeria not finishing school. So I think that this is a hugely important issue. And I think that free education should really be a right of every girl child in Nigeria, and that's something that I continue to speak out about.
High school in Benin. I went to a school called Idia College in Benin. It was our own Midwestern Queen's College at that time. And from there, I went to the University of Ife to study dramatic arts. My parents, they thought I would be a lawyer, but I knew what I wanted to be. Once I saw my first commercial, TV was just coming out in the early 70s, and I saw my first commercial, which was on a Coca-Cola ad. I found dramatic arts at the University of Ife. Ife was about 3.5 hours away from Benin, and dramatic arts had a component where you could specialize either in film and television, or you could specialize in acting, script writing, or music. And I said, that's good. You do basic drama, the first 2 years, and the last 2 years, you specialize in either of these ones.
Being a woman is awesome. And we know that in a country like Nigeria, there's a lot of women issues in terms of inequality. But working with women, it gives them the power to be able to contribute, to be able to give something back to society. because by nature we have this gift to nurture. But there's a lot of women issues in the country. They are the most poor people. The most poor people are women. Those who are being affected by issues of climate change mostly are women. Poverty, women. So it's the interest of working on women issue.
I think that there's perhaps maybe a slightly negative stereotype of women in business in Nigeria. And I recently wrote an article about this actually called The Myth of the Nigerians Girl. And it talks about the stereotypes that women in business have in Nigeria. And basically I call it a myth and say that majority of Nigerian and African women are actually extremely hardworking. And I mean, if we think about, you know, our own mothers and what they did to put food on the table for us, we'll realize that, you know, African women are actually the cornerstone of society, the cornerstone of any developing society.
As a reporter on the street, it's all the things I noticed were bothering to me. The fact that most of the respondents for what we call Vox Pop, that's popular, you're going out to get respondents from people on the streets. And you're going down Tinubu Square, for example. That was the best place. You wanted a variety of people. That bus stop, you've seen all kinds of people going past. You stop and interview them. You'll more likely find men wanting to respond. And then even if I was doing a special report and I went out to corporates or to what have you, to have people respond to a particular issue, the females were less likely to want to be seen on television. I just wonder why. You know, they were very reluctant because they felt, you know, no, I'm too shy. No, I don't want to be there. And being a woman and knowing how important women can be, I realized that women need to tell their stories. So I always thought someday I'm going to do something to help women be freer to come out and talk about themselves.
Vlisco, it's, you know, it's historically is something that my mother always wears. You know, it's a fabric that every woman wants to associate it with. You know, I grew up closer to my mother. So you can see her wearing all these Vlisco classic dresses, and then you feel so fabulous. I mean, I always want to be a woman like that, full of grace and everything. Vlisco actually, because of its history in the country, it has this essence that it gives to women wear the dresses.
I think Vlisco as a brand stands for the strong African women. I think a lot of the fabrics, a lot of the poses, a lot of the pictures, a lot of the imagery shows an African woman in a different light to what African women are normally seen as. We saw pictures of African women, you know, in rags, you know, who were malnourished, who were carrying things on their head, and that was the imagery. That was the image that we saw of the African woman, and that is how the world sees African women. And what brands, bold brands like Vlisco do, give a different image of the African woman to the world.
If I say they are quest for excellence, I met Vlisco even on the business side 7 years ago when I started the magazine. They're expensive, they are not local to the extent that it's produced in your backyard. But the point, what I found interesting about it is it's produced with the African woman in mind. The African woman's love for color, the African woman's love for patterns, the African woman's love for fashion, with the Nigerian woman in mind. That's what we decided. For me, that's beautiful. But beyond that, it's their quest for excellence.
I think this is classic, the Igbo one, the one that has the star sort of thing, that you can combine a lot of different colors. A lot of girls wear them. And I think it actually shows that we're very, very looking inwards to our very own talent, our very own cultural identity. You know, I just like go on stage. Actually, I'm speaking somewhere recently. I'm going to speak somewhere next year. I think I'm going to wear a very nice Vlisco classic dress.
I don't have a favorite, but I have favorite groups of colors for Ankara. So generally, I actually go for the plain colors. So what I'm wearing now, deep browns, deep reds.
Every Vlisco print, okay, I'm a classic person. Those classic designs that people have copied left, right, and center. I don't know their names. No. Like this one, that blue one is a classic design. It's been there. Then the star, can you see the star? Then the square. That square that our mothers used in those days and they still use. They copied several. all kinds of people. So they start as the red, there's the blue. I don't know what's called. I don't know their names. But I just know that those designs are vintage.
I think to empower people, I mean, imagine the list of nominees, what you've done. I think the stories, when it's projected out there, will empower other young girls to be able to look up to them, to be able to push forward in their careers. Like I had a mentor as well, and I grew up looking up to my mentor. So the award will throw more light to the issues of women and also share what women are doing to uplift livelihood of women, to empower women. And what Vlisco is doing as part of its corporate responsibility to empower a larger community, to raise the profile of women in the country.
I think that one of the key things that the Vlisco brand does is present a different image of the African woman to the world. What Vlisco does is it rebrands the African woman. Brands like Vlisco showcase the African woman as strong and as assertive and as financially empowered.
I think it's a good give back. It's a good give back to the extent that it doesn't mean that when you nominate somebody or you award somebody as if the person is a hero or whatever, that everybody's going to run to the market to buy Vlisco. But it just means that Vlisco is concerned by inspiring younger women, inspiring other women, and so identifying women who they think role models in whatever genre. And in the month of women, right, it's going to make them tee into the mind of the average Nigerian woman.
What makes it a tough day, I think, is knowing that tomorrow will be better than today. I mean, whatever I'm going through now, there's always a day that I won't have to go through that. It could be tomorrow. But nothing bad really lasts forever. And of course, I have a family to fall back on should I have these challenges. And I'm a Christian, so I should be happy all the time. I was created to be happy.
I think the fact that even on tough days, tough weeks, there's always somebody somewhere that is alive because we could respond to them and transport them to the most appropriate hospital for them within the right time frame. And I think that definitely makes me smile when I think of the lives that we've saved and the good that we've managed to do.
I'm worrying about my world. And it's all got to do with the spiritual. Because as you grow older, get closer to God, because like they say, you are, how do they say it in English? If you don't know, where you're going is closer than where you're coming from. You know, I mean, I'm old, chances are I'll probably die before a child was 2. Chances, you never know. So you need to think about it thereafter. And God, the more you think about God, the more insignificant you become, and the more insignificant your problems become. And you start to look like it's temporary. It will change. So for me, that's what keeps me going on a very, very crazy day.
If you're a woman out there watching this video, just know that you can do it. Be yourself, follow your heart, and follow your dreams. Everything is possible. If you can dream it, you can do it.
I believe that there's an onus on women to participate actively in the economic development of Nigeria and the economic development of Africa. Women are the cornerstone of African society. When women develop, families develop. And my message, as a passing message to any woman watching this, is the future is in our hands.
It's a privilege that we are important to society because we're the nurturers. If we understand how truly valuable we are, then we'll put in the best into ourselves. If you know what you want to achieve in life, and you realize that there's nothing that can stop you, and you know that you are valuable and valued, I think that's more than anything else. It's what makes us make the right decisions in life. If you want to marry the kind of man that you marry, does he value you? If you want to work, the kind of work that you want to do, are you valued there? Do you add value? The kind of business that you want to do, are you adding value or are you just taking away? You know, value, value, value. You are valued and you add value. And with that, and with a connection to what is beyond, asking for all the information that you require, I think the sky usually is the limit, and is the limit for women, because the woman is a palm tree. A palm tree, deep roots, very tall. There are storms that beat the palm tree left, right, and center. The palm tree goes all the way down. Go and watch it. In a storm, it goes all the way down. But you know what? Once the storm is over, it bounces back. From the palm tree, you get coconut oil, you get palm oil, you get body cream, you get juice, palm wine, you get food. The palm nuts themselves is food. So it's from the woman. Everything is possible if only she realized how deeply her roots have gone. And the man, the creature who's created her to be special. Because I mean, as a Christian, I always say that when God created Adam, he realized it was imperfect. He made Eve a helpmate to make her perfect, to make his creation perfect. It means we are the finishers. We are the ones that came with the deeper roots to go down and be that palm tree that is unshakable. That's my word for the day.